Hello, this is a review of the LED Rayovac virtually indestructible flashlight that we see here. So it comes in the box that you see pictured here, and what we're looking at today is model DIY2D-B. Just to give you a picture of what it looks like. This is what you get out of the box. So you just get the flashlight and two D batteries that we see here. Now the D batteries are much larger than your usual AA batteries that work in other competing flashlights that we'll look at shortly in comparison. But you get your two D batteries that come in here, not the AA's that I'm sitting next to, we'll use for comparison. And then the flashlight itself, just remember, bring yourselves your wire snips so that you can cut off the zip ties. And here we have the pieces. So basically you get the end piece that comes off really easily here so that you can go ahead and slide your D batteries on in. So let's go ahead and put our D batteries in and screw on the end like so. And so now here we have it. Now this thing has some heft. This is a heavy-duty flashlight compared to some other flashlights that we'll look at shortly. But this thing is heavy in comparison. It definitely fills your whole hand. If you look at me, I'm an average-sized adult male, and you can see how it fills my hand. And I mean, it's a good heavy, so it feels like it's going to be fairly virtually indestructible. This end here is probably its weak point. If you had a high impact down on this end, that's probably the only weak point of the entire thing. But that's why it's kind of protected by raised edges here. So you can see how I can probably hit the edge. It's rubber, you hear? So this is a hardwood floor I have here. But you know, it's kind of bouncy all the way around there. The back end's a little bit rubber too. So, and then it's got metal here. So, I mean, this gives you some heft. These little grooves here, which almost feel like for nuts, but I don't think any part of this unscrews as far as I know. I think it's just so that it doesn't roll. So this feels good in your hands when you're holding it. It's kind of nice that it's not perfectly round to have these kind of edges. And these here, although they look like a nut, is just so, you know, it doesn't keep on rolling. It can actually settle itself, as you can see there. Now let's look at it compared to some of the other flashlights that I have here. So of course we have the one that we're looking at today, then we have a few Coast flashlights and some other generic and traditional flashlights that we have here. Now I'm going to compare this specifically against ones I specifically love. So these here are the Coast flashlights. So this is the HP6, this one here is the HP5, and that is the HP2. These all take normal AA batteries, except the HP2 takes a AAA battery, and we're going to compare the light output of these compared to this. Now, I think these are for completely different applications, so let's be fair. Things like this just slip right in your pocket, right? I love the small, slender shaft. I can just slide it down the back of my jeans pocket so that the head sticks out. I can just reach around and grab this out of the top of my pocket. This one can slip all the way in my pocket, and I can forget about while I'm carrying it around. This one here has a little clip, so you can clip this onto something as well. But this thing is so small and lightweight that I don't even think about it. I can throw this in my jeans pocket and not even care at all. And yeah, these are amazingly powerful for comparison. That was the HP2. Here's the HP5, and then the two AA battery HP6. And then we're going to compare it to this. Now remember, this obviously is not going to sit in your pocket by any means, but you got a button on the end here to turn it on and off. So we got that here. Let's talk about the light display that we see in a moment here. So you can see how we can turn it on and off. So you get a low and high setting. So you see how it's on high right now. So you just click it twice to get a low setting. On high, so we got good light display there. Now this one is a single focus. You see how there's no way to adjust the end, at least as far as I can tell, to control whether it goes wide, flood, or focus. That's compared to ones, let's look at this, the Coast HP5 as an example here. It looks like a wide, even flood at first, but you can turn it into the other one by pushing on the end here. So I can push this up. You see how I can push or pull it? What it does is this. So the one that we're going to review today is a single focus, but if you're working on specific task work, that might be really good to light a specific area that you're working in and gives you the other surrounding flood. But that's a notable difference from these other ones that just give you a nice wide one with the option to focus. Also, some other flashlights might give you a carry case. So the Coast flashlights I talked about here have a little Velcro section to slip it in and strap it onto your belt. as well. This one didn't, but this one did. This one doesn't have any such carry case. Now I think it's so heavy that you're not going to want to flip this on your belt and carry it around. That's clearly not the purpose. So now I'm here in my dark laundry room with all the doors and windows shut so that we can take a look at the actual light output of these different flashlights, and we're going to look at them in comparison one at a time. Now, first of all, this is not the flashlight. This is my old incandescent blue flashlight that we saw earlier. It's just anemic in comparison. Now, the batteries are a bit old and stuff like that out there, but just wanted to give you a comparison before we take a look at the one we're reviewing today and compare it to my three Coast ones and an off-brand that I have here. So this we're looking at, I'm just going to leave this one on so we can kind of get a picture of what's going on here. Now we're going to take a look at this one that we're reviewing today. You know, notice the huge difference in comparison to the old wearing out one that I had before. Now this gives you a nice wide, it lights up the whole room, that I'm seeing here. It gives me plenty of light. It's really bright focus. Honestly, it's even brighter in the center of the camera than you see in the actual video shot here. In my eyes here, but got a nice even flood around it as well here. So you get a really nice bright center spot and then good clean flood otherwise. So that was the one we're reviewing now. Now let's look at the smaller Coast flashlight that I have here. So this is the HP6 that we're looking at here. I love the light output of this tiny little guy considering the nice clean even flood. For a lot of my work, I actually like not having a strong center, but remember I can still do this or pull it somewhere there in between. So the Coast that we're looking at, the Coast light that we're looking at here, actually has a wider flood and a brighter center, because when I zoom this in, the center is still a little wide and you can see how wide the actual light is on the wall, but when I go to full flood mode, we get a different picture. Now I love that flashlight. Again, let's go back and compare this one once more so we see the comparison. I'm holding this one here so you can get the picture of what we're looking at. But it's a pretty good flashlight, but it's somewhat similar in light output to these other ones. Now, let's go, we have a middle one here, and we have a teeny one that takes a AAA battery. Let's compare the AAA one from Coast I have here, just as a comparison. Wow, this is one thing that amazed me so much. I have a separate video review on these, but this is a ton of light output against this little AAA. Now, honestly, it does fade over time with the battery, and it doesn't go completely out, it just gets weaker and weaker over time, so you just put in a fresh battery, or I like to use rechargeables. But compare this, a single AAA battery out of this tiny little thing that just stuffs in my pocket compared to this one here. Again, a completely different use case. Like, this thing is way more durable. You're not going to lose this, where I could see you, losing these little guys. But let's go through the line, just compare a few others. This is the middle one that I had. You honestly don't start to notice a huge difference between the HP6 and the HP2. And then let's compare that to this guy down here, the generic lead that I had. It supposedly has like 6 leads in the end. They claim 6 leads over here. This is nowhere near as clean. Like, look how it's not a nice even flood all the way around. It's kind of just all goes from gradual of almost nothing on the side to strong in the middle. To me, I much prefer the cleaner light out of almost any of these other ones. We go back to the one that we're reviewing today. Look how nice clean flood we get around the center spot that we're looking at as well. Let's take a look at the low setting. It doesn't really flicker in person. On my LCD screen on the camcorder, it's coming out as flickering. It honestly doesn't really flicker in person, but I go full beam, and this is honestly how I don't think I'm ever going to end up using it on low. And this was the Coast, of course, to compare to as well. But overall, I think this is a decent flashlight. For the purpose of being really rugged, I like it. But honestly, when I'm doing chores running around the house, doing little electrical jobs or carpentry jobs that I do in my own house, I love these little guys. I just grab these, go look at an electrical panel. This, I can go up on a ladder and not worry about if this is on my hand. So I still rave about my Coast flashlights. Honestly, I never did like the generic lead ones that I had here. So again, this is a good flashlight. It's good heavy duty, but the limitations are the size and weight of it. If you're looking for a big flashlight that's supposedly virtually indestructible, I think it does a decent job. And I think the batteries are going to last longer, being D batteries, if you don't want to have to change them, or you're going to be in an environment where you're going to keep forgetting batteries. So I think it's a good flashlight, but it's a different application than things you can just stuff in your pocket. Thanks for watching the review.